had reviewed everything.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Angela O'Hare, your favorite Las Vegas realtor.
Hey, and I'm Rob Howe, Rockstar Realtor.
Let us know if you can hear us. No one's watching anyway right now. So, oh well. Even though you guys are going to start joining us, I got some new lighting for my YouTube studio. So I think it adds a little pop of color to it. I think it looks pretty cool. Let us know what you think of the new YouTube lighting. Stay tuned. I will be getting a neon sign, so it's going to be pretty cool.
I think it looks amazing.
Yes. So anyway, how are you? It's been a while. It goes by fast.
Yeah. Yeah, we wanted to get together one time in between.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, I'm going through a remodel right now. So my house is like total.
Which makes not just your house crazy, but your head crazy.
Right. Exactly.
You know, I understand. No, I've been good. Been busy. And I've been enjoying Vegas Golden Knights hockey.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I'm looking so fuzzy.
Your hair's super curly.
Yeah, I'm basically during the hockey, when you get to the playoffs, the tradition is the players don't shave.
Just like any kind of other sport, right?
A lot of the sports do that. So I'm right along with them because they are on one heck of a run.
Yeah.
And they look like they are. I mean, look, they're in the Stanley Cup final. They're up 2 games. They need 2 more games. I don't know.
That would be cool. They almost came close one year when they first started, right?
They did. So very first year, amazing journey they've had.
Yes.
And I just think it's super great for Vegas. I think the Golden Knights represent something that culturally we didn't have.
Yes.
Whether you like hockey or not, when you're talking about people that take pride in their city, take pride in a sports team and the development of that team. And we've gotten these transplants of the Raiders, and we're talking about the A's and things like that, but it's not the same when you have this epic moment that the moments that Vegas has had.
Yeah, there's so many people that are like avid fans. It's people
bonkers.
That never liked hockey before love hockey now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fun to, like, when you go to the casinos and everyone's in their hockey gear.
Who would have thought hockey in the desert, right? I always say that. It's like, here, especially growing up here, and they wouldn't allow sports teams here for a long time. They were like, no, betting and all this stuff. Now they're like, yeah, you know what? There's probably a lot of who knows what's going on.
Well, yeah, they were the first professional team to come to Vegas.
They were the first pro team, top level pro team.
I mean, they had the women's basketball team, but I don't know if they were before or after.
They were after. Yeah. But technically the women's basketball team were the first to get a championship. VGK might be the second to get, but they are one of the big 4. They call NFL, NHL, hockey, MLB, baseball, and why am I forgetting the other one? And basketball, NBA. So those are the big 4. So that obviously they would be the first big 4 in Vegas.
Nice. Well, enough about us and talking. We're just, how great Vegas is.
Yeah.
While we're heating up for summer, so is the Las Vegas housing market.
Yeah.
A lot of you guys, a couple months ago, I had been predicting an upsurgence in numbers. And everyone was like, she crazy? She's predicting 1,000 over, at that time, that first time I said increase.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into the numbers and more shocking news with the Las Vegas real estate market for the month of May. Obviously, things are not slowing down, but there's also one key indicator as to why the median price has seen such a huge increase.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So we're going to dig deep into these numbers and try to get this done in an hour, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we absolutely. Yeah. I got an appointment after this. So
okay, good.
We can't go an hour and a half. That's for sure.
All right. So let's get into the numbers. Let's dive deep into it. Basically, last month, there were 2,316 single family homes that sold in May, which is up 18% from April, but down 20.3% from May of 2022, which we all know that the peak of the season in 2022 was May. So obviously we can't compare to May's numbers, right?
Well, what do you mean?
Well, we don't have as many sales compared to last year's
Oh,
numbers
for
because
last year.
May 2022 was the peak of the season.
Well, it was
it
was the peak of the
everything.
the height, and what we have, you can dissect this a little bit and say, okay, what we have, and I won't reveal our big indicator,
Right.
many might know already, but what we have is that in May 2022 there was a lot more buyer demand.
Yes.
Even though what we're going to tell you is going to be surprising based on the demand being lower, there is still enough there to create a lot of inertia.
Yes.
And that's what we're seeing. So even though we don't have that historic, unbelievable May of 2022, we do have a very robust
May of 2023. Yeah, and obviously people are like, oh, these numbers are lower. We won't hit the 2022, but that's okay.
Yes.
I'm glad that we're not hitting the 2022 numbers.
Yeah, clearly.
But
yeah,
but we'll get into that in a minute. So the median sales price of previously owned single-family homes went from $430,000 to $442,120, which is a $12,120 median price increase.
Wow. Yeah, definitely more than you or I thought.
Yes.
Although I think in the end we'll find out who was a little bit more right on that in our bets. We have a bet that you can
stay tuned to the end.
At the end.
Yes.
We do this every time. Ange has been on a hot streak.
For like over 6 months or so.
For a while. Yeah. Yeah.
But that puts us 2.8% up from the prior month and only 8.3% down from May of 2022.
Yeah. And so that's what I was going to say about May 22 and what was happening then. That was clearly a bubble. That was a bubble.
Yes.
It was a baby bubble in compared to what a lot of people, when they say bubble bursting, that was a baby bubble burst. And it was only because of one reason, because of interest rates, that we really started having that change. Really only reason, high prices, bubble, and the interest rates getting rapidly changed.
Right.
But now we've come to a point where it's clear that people are settling in and also realizing that maybe rates aren't going to get better for a while. And they're going ahead and taking advantage of their opportunities while they can.
Honestly, I don't think rates are going to go up. I think for the next 6 months, I think they're going to remain pretty stable. But
this is a big, we hope, I hope. But here's the thing. If you were basing it on what we're going to talk about today in Vegas's numbers and Las Vegas numbers, you would be raising the interest rate for sure.
Right.
But because Vegas isn't going to be like everywhere in the country, and Vegas may be an exception, an outlier as far as our continued, growth.
Right.
That may be that, the reason that you're right that, hey, yeah, they're probably not going to change them for a little while. I don't think they're going to change them for at least the next 30 days, maybe 60 days. But look, if the more of this is happening across the country, get ready.
Well, all right, let's get into the numbers. And I have a theory on this.
Yeah.
Listen, real quick. After COVID, in my opinion, and I'm just going to give you my hopefully the most summed up version of my thoughts on this. COVID is a culprit for all of this, folks, in my opinion. Okay.
Of course.
If we didn't have COVID, we would have trended in our normal 10% trending price increase, right?
Yeah.
The only reason we're having this across not just the housing market, but in supply chain issues, appliances, food is outrageous. So why don't they adjust the price of the food? They got the stock levels up now. Why is the food pricing going down?
Well, this is something I've definitely had in the back of my mind, which is that when you inflate, you don't necessarily suddenly deflate because it's now the new standard, especially when it comes to food. I think especially when you're going out to restaurants and things like that.
Ridiculous.
Look, I mean, are you going to suddenly change your prices and go lower just because? No, not right away. It's not going to be that quick.
But my thought is that the reason why we have these issues is because people had COVID. They couldn't build these things. The demand was so high that we couldn't keep up with all the things. So they raised the prices, a typical supply and demand issue.
Absolutely.
Right?
And those are going to hang around.
Right. And so that's why the housing market went crazy because especially the new construction, because we had the issues with the lumber issues, the doors, the appliances, everything was back ordered and took longer. So that's why new construction prices started getting really crazy because they had the demand.
massive demand.
And so remember when COVID started, all the stock, everything was like bare. The grocery stores were bare, and you can still today, to this day, kind of see that it's still kind of bare. But it's just ridiculous to go shopping. Cost $400 when it used to cost $200. Electricity's gone up, gas has gone up, like gas, natural gas, and then also fuel for your car. Now, my point is that we are always going to have these things. We're going to have COVID. We're going to have. There's always been a war. We have the war going on with Russia. We also had the Afghans war, the Gulf War. There's always going to be a war, right?
I like to think, hope not, but it seems that way all my life.
The point is that, and this, what I'm saying is, it ties it into the whole doomers, right? The doomers are saying with the state of the economy, it's blah, blah, blah. Well, the state of the economy has never been great for the last 3 years.
Well, it's certainly been in question.
Right.
It's certainly been in question. I think that's, especially when you bring into the mindset of the people that are calling for gloom and doom.
Right.
It has been in heavy question, and any day now.
So,
Things are going to
fall 6 months, you're going to say that it's falling apart. Then you're going to say next year it's falling apart. Then you're going to say the end of next year is going to fall apart. When is it going to really fall apart?
Well, yeah,
Anyway, let's get to the numbers. So, obviously, in May of 2022, the median price was $482. In May of 2021, the median price was $385. And in May of 2020, which is COVID, the median price was $315. So now that $315 was the peak of the market in 2008. Of June of 2008. We finally hit in May of 2020, which took from 2008 to 2020. How many years is that? 12?
12 years.
It took 12 years to finally hit the peak. So there was a long 12-year haul.
It was massive destruction from 2008.
Yes.
And the reality is that just to take you through history here a little bit, the reality is that from 2008 to early 2012 was the full expression of the complete drop of the market at that time, as far as going through that Great Recession.
I think 2012 is when it finally hit the bottom.
That was the bottom.
Something.
That was the bottom. It was late 11, early 12.
Right.
The bottom was right there, and then it obviously started ticking up for another 8 years.
Yeah.
To finally hit that.
Well, I got into real estate in 2016, and the moment I started, there was always multiple offers. I mean, constant bidding wars.
Yeah. Absolutely. Vegas has been a hot spot, forever. I mean, it just went through a really, really rough time from 2008
to 12.
But everybody would agree that they should have bought everything they could get their hands on, especially around 2010 and beyond, really.
Well, so my thought is that 2021, our median price was $385. In 2023, our median price is $442. So even if we do have, and we believe the doomers, and we believe that the prices are going to be going down, then it's not like I'm promoting this price, and I like that it to be unaffordable to the average person, but the numbers are telling us a whole different picture of what's going to be happening in the future.
Without a doubt.
So I highly doubt that we will ever drop to even 2021 numbers. I think, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, that we hit our bottom in March of this year at 425,000.
Yeah, and I think we would have been okay if we had even gone lower. You and I have talked about it a number of times on these updates that, okay, folks, if we thought it was going to get really bad, we might see around 400,000 median price.
Yes.
We really didn't even come close. I mean, it was we did have a bubble, and a correction.
Right.
Off
we did
of
have
that
a correction.
high.
Yep.
But now look at the new correction. Isn't that interesting? I mean, that's why I say people are getting used to what the new conditions are, and deciding that, you know what, I need to make this happen. A lot of these people are still moving from other states, and they're making some good money on their sale there. And then they're coming. So Vegas is such a popular spot that it's really holding us up, even though we're not having as much buyer activity as maybe previously.
Well, and I'm not going to go over townhomes today because, I want us to be able to talk.
Okay.
If you want to learn more about the market update, I've posted a link down in the description below where you can learn more about all these numbers that we're going off of, provided by, again, the Las Vegas Realtors. These aren't numbers that we're pulling off out of our buttwad. These are actual factual numbers. But I want to get into the luxury market real quick, and where we are seeing very strong, the luxury market for the month of May, excuse me, was very strong. And I want to bring up an example. I had a client that was in that 3 million and under range, and we found a house in Red Rock Country Club, single story home. I think it was at 1.6 million. They had an open house on a Saturday. We went there at 10 o'clock or 10:05, and the agent said there was a line. The open house was full at a $1.6 million house, and they already had a cash offer over asking price.
I think I know the property you're talking about.
And then
my clients were looking at
it was
too.
a nice house.
Yeah.
And then we were looking at another house in Reverence, a 2-story house that was like 4,000 square foot.
I know the one too.
Against
I
the
showed
mountain,
that property as well.
Against the mountain.
Yes.
And they had an offer already too. And that was in the 2
that
million.
was 2.7, I think they had it at.
Yeah. So let me tell you what, guys, that luxury market is on fire last month.
Yeah, it's been very strong, and I even have another story that I could tell you. I sold a property around 1.4 to and my clients moved actually out of the country, and then the new owners they did a 1031 to buy it,
right,
and then they put it back on the market at 1.6, just seeing if they'll get anything. Now listen, here's the deal on this. They're under contract. But it's a under contract show, which tells me that potentially they have a contingency of some sort. They're still willing to show it.
Not necessarily, because I have a client that bought a 1.3, almost 1.4 million in Sun City cash, and they have an under contract show as well.
Well, did they talk to you about that?
No contingencies. No, but that's what the seller has to decide, not the buyer.
No, absolutely. The buyer needs to know that's not just the seller's decision.
But when you have the form to change to the MLS, it's a seller's decision.
It has to be the buyer.
Because when you go under the listing contract, you have to tell the seller, what do you want? Do you want to list it as no show or show? And that's the seller's decision in the beginning.
Well, first of all, they can't accept another offer. Okay.
Right.
So
they can't accept another offer, but they can most certainly show the house.
They cannot accept another offer. I guess they can show the house. I would say that's something that should be, we might want to talk to the brokers about that, because that should be something that should be agreed upon by the buyer.
It should be, however, per the listing agreement, it asks the seller what they want to do.
Right. And you're right in this way, that the buyer doesn't have some agreement that they're making, but in my opinion, it should absolutely be, hey, buyer, we're going to put this in under contract show status. Every time I've done it, I've made sure that the buyer knows we're doing that. I just think that's protocol.
Right.
It makes sense.
It's courtesy.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm not positive if it's something you have to do, but either way, point being is under contract show means you could still show the property. Most of the time people don't, because it's already under contract. You can't get under contract.
I always advised against it.
A lot of times it's because they have a contingency that they're wanting to show that property.
Right.
Not always, but in this case, I'm just telling you, like I first of all, getting their appraisal will be interesting. But either way, that's what we're pointing to, is that if this person was able to go in 6 months and put it back on the market for 300 grand or 200 and change more,
right,
and get it under contract, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, definitely. So with that said, are you done with your story? Sorry.
Yeah, that was really it.
With that said, we had 131 homes in the month of May that were over $1 million that sold, compared to April's, which was 109. So there was a 22 home increase. Not only did the number of homes increase, but the median price increase. It went to 1.515 million. In April, that was 1.375. So that was 140,000 increase in median price in the luxury market.
Yeah. And this is going to come down to what we know. There's one reason why this is happening, and that's why when we're talking and we're going, oh yeah, we showed that same property. Yes. Yeah, we had buyers interested in those same properties. There's a big reason for that.
And we're going to get into that in a minute, but there's a big reason. I think I must have hit something.
We missed a whole.
Well, this is the townhomes, but I didn't make a note. I said we
Oh.
hit the peak of the market, as I mentioned, at May of 2022, which is the highest selling month ever in Las Vegas history at 482. So that is now only a $39,880 loss from May of 2022 to May of 2023.
You know who this is the best news for? Is those folks who bought in May of 2022.
Well, that means you still have some equity.
Well, yeah, and most of them bought with a lot of cash down and
Yes.
and even above appraisal. So they were buying where their equity is their own cash. So it's kind of like, yeah, I'm losing, but they're not going anywhere.
Right.
But either way, it's good news for you to know,
Exactly.
okay, in the last 2 months, I got 17 grand back off of that because it was 17,000 lower.
Right. And so last month when we were doing predictions, I had predicted that once we go over May of 2023 numbers, that the difference between May of 2022 to May of 23 will be under 50,000 and it's under 40,000.
Yeah.
So I was pretty close on that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I really don't see, especially during our, when we talk about Vegas getting hot outside, the market gets hot. It's just what happens. It's just absolutely what happens.
It sucks. I have a great listing in the Southwest, 405,000, 1,500 plus square feet. Great little location close to on the outskirts of Southern Highlands. I can't get anyone to look at it.
Really?
And it's been nicely updated and I can't sell it.
I'm sure that won't be long. I can't imagine why.
405. And I'm like, well, where's the buyers are shifting to the luxury market? Because all signs, multiple offers.
Well, we're definitely dealing with a market where the people that are, have means are in control and they can do what they please.
Right.
And they can do that without a lot of fear because they have means, because they're protected, they're insulated. And so those maybe the buyers that would be our entry level buyers more often those are the ones that are having a harder time for sure, without a doubt.
Yeah. Especially if you financed a $400,000 house at 6 and change interest rate, you're looking at probably $3,000 a month, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, my guess is that if you get that price just under the 400 mark, you'll see it pop.
Yeah, I think we're going to lower it again this week to $399.
Yeah, I'd be really surprised if you don't. It probably is the square footage too, of course, because people like about that mark of 1,500 is okay. It's good.
Right.
People like it a little bit larger.
3 bedrooms and a den downstairs and a nicely updated kitchen. So we'll see.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a bad deal.
Contact me.
I got one coming on too. Get a gated neighborhood, and it's going to be $358. So it's a heck of a deal.
Oh yeah, that's a heck of a deal.
Yep.
All right, so let's get back to the numbers. So now we're going to this is what we been wanting to talk about. So for May, we had a total of 2,604 new listings, which is actually up 6.2 from April, but still down 35.4% from the prior year, which the prior year we had 4,033. So we had in May of 2022, we had 4,033 new listings. And in May of 2023, we had 2,604. So that's 1,400 and change difference of listings. So we didn't have as many new listings as we did last year.
Well, I think perception is really what is running the show right now, which actually perception may be reality. That's in this way that, in May of 2022, it was perceived a really strong seller's market.
Right.
And right now it's not perceived that way. Not only that, but where are you going if you're a seller? So that's very important. If I have a 3% mortgage and I want to sell right now, that means I'm probably buying into a 6 or a 5 and change at least mortgage, depending on what I can get done with my lender. Do I want to do that?
Right.
Not everybody wants to do it. And it is a careful move that people are making right now. There are people doing it, obviously.
Yeah. And I made the points, the couple of things. Well, let's go into houses that sold. So currently, as of at the end of May of this year, there are a total of 3,645 single family homes listed without offers, as again at the end of May. In April, that number was 3,737. So we didn't drop that much, only down 2.5% from the previous month, but obviously slightly higher than the previous year at 2.1%. Okay. So this is very anemic. The inventory is very anemic, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So these doomers, and I want to circle back to that, they predicted an abundance of inventory, people, tons of foreclosures, right? Bank-owned properties, short sales.
Mhm.
It ain't happening.
Yeah, well, this is the classic, I saw it once, tweedle,
Right.
I saw it once and it's going to happen again. It's not going to happen the same way. And so, you have to have other factors.
Right.
If the interest rate is the only reason why that you had a bubble burst, why the change in the market happened, then it's not enough to cause anything cataclysmic to happen. At least not at this point. Now, if they continued to raise the rate, continued to hammer, and of course that would have a massive issue on the market. But as you can see, what the reaction is the sellers are saying, the people who would maybe want to sell and move and buy elsewhere are like, and so that's really holding up that's really holding up the floodgates here. And also, those people are in comfortable positions as far as so they're like, well, do I want to take a risk right now and sell and buy something that might be a little bit more shaky for me, or do I want to stay very, very comfortable?
If you sell and then buy a new construction home where you can get one of those lender incentives and get lower interest rates, that would make a good move to do that.
Yeah, but that's not going to fit everybody's box,
exactly.
Right? So that's the thing. And new construction only serves so many people. It's a wonderful option, and I'll tell you right now, I think that a lot of people should be looking at new construction. You've been saying that a long time, and now I'm seeing even more of because I'm going to do a little thing on my channel where I just show you. I'm going to go into Summerlin and say, hey, if I wanted a property around $600,000 or $700,000, what can I find right now? And you're going to be shocked at what you can find.
Right.
So your next option, when you're not seeing a lot there, might be those new homes. Probably is. And they are giving incentives that make sense to do it. So,
So we're still seeing multiple offers on those homes that are like in great location, nice home, no work, move-in ready, blah, blah, blah. But another thing, with the limited inventory on the resale side, what's happening is the new constructions business has picked up and they've become very busy as well. So some of these builders that were offering some phenomenal deals are no longer offering such great deals as that they were in the past.
Yeah. And again, we can pat ourselves on the, first of all, you were calling it when you saw it. Right. Hey, everybody, this was late last year, or maybe even October-ish.
It was October.
Yeah. And you're like, hey, listen, look what's happening. And when you started showing me that, because at the time I didn't really have a lot of clients looking at new construction. So I was like, well, wait a minute. What do you look? Oh my goodness. Yeah. And I saw that something that I'd never seen, which was a lot of incentives. And they continued those for a little bit. But as we entered into the year, they started just shaving it off a little bit. And now they're, what they're really focused on is getting people good interest rates. I think that's what they know they need to do.
And some closing cost incentives. But I used to, like, we were showing houses in Castellana and Summerlin by Taylor Morrison. And I was like, to the sales rep, I said, can we put in an offer? She goes, we've picked up. Our business is doing good. I don't think they'll accept offers anymore. I used to be able to put an offer on a new construction home. Just depends on the location.
Yep.
And how much they need to get rid of, or how much inventory they have, and et cetera.
There's never a this is an absolute, okay, so certain areas are going to have certain different conditions in town. So some areas you're not going to be able to wheel and deal. Some areas they might be more open to it. I was shocked too that that site Lennar has over in Section 10.
Yes, Pioneer Estates.
Pioneer Estates. That's the one. Gone.
It's all sold out.
I think they may have one lot left.
Shit.
But I think.
Well, they have another. Okay, so FYI.
They're building another one.
Jackson Estates in the Northwest.
It's not the same area though. So
it's not the same area.
They're a good price. They're a good price.
But no, I think, these homes are starting at $1 million.
Well, nine and change.
But the cool thing about the one at Jackson, I think the same thing at Pioneer Estates. I will be doing a video posting on Monday, Lennar estate homes. So there's a bunch of estate communities by Lennar. A lot of them are starting in the high 8s to $1 million and over. But the one in Jackson Estates is going to have a 4-car garage and an RV garage.
Yep. So you can go with either a 2-car and the RV or a 4-car.
I see.
And that's what they had at Pioneer as well.
Yes.
Those things like hotcakes.
Yeah.
You give people an RV garage and they're like, bah!
I mean, everyone knocks on Lennar, but they, to me, even though, some of their homes are
they have a
basic,
great product.
They do have an awesome product.
Mm-hmm.
They do the best job on next gen suites and RV garages. You will hardly see any other builders like Pulte, Toll Brothers, TriPoint have RV garages, and we need those RV garages.
Yeah, I hate promoting Lennar because they haven't been very good to their agent, to their cooperating agents.
Right.
But they know they have created better products that are for this time right now. Those next gen suites,
my God,
RV garages, those large lot single story homes with multiple garages, those are in demand. Especially out here where you can get some property with your property.
Right.
And so when they're offering that and no other builders are, or very, very few are, and especially being that they're reputable, because you can go to, there have been some other sort of smaller builders, and then they build slower. And they don't have the same quality control or whatnot. They don't have the same process that they move things along with. So,
I mean, I tell you what, there are other builders that will do like a next gen suite, but it's not going to have its own entry into the house.
Right.
Like
they just
Lennar
do smart. They do smart.
They
stuff.
have that kitchenette. I like their next gen suites.
Believe me, I know. I'm sort of being dragged to the party here on this, but
so what is the? Is it like 6,000? I heard it was only 6,000.
So you have to ask if you're a cooperating broker, you have to ask Lennar when you go to some of their communities, what are you paying for compensation? What are you compensating the agents for? And in some places they're a flat fee.
Yes.
The
higher end ones are.
Yeah. The one that I got kind of tricked on because they had told everybody we're doing 2%. Yeah. Suddenly they were doing 6,000 flat fee on this property.
Yeah, over $1 million house.
I was like, and then my client happens to be somebody I've known since I was a kid, and they were like, "Oh, F that." They were so pissed. They were like, "I'm going to get out of this." In the end, I said, "Listen, don't do this. Don't do this about me. Make this about me."
Right.
I was elated that they were willing to go to bat for me, which I've never asked or wanted to have happen, but it was just a rare occasion. And so, yeah, they leave you a little chapped on that. But hey, listen, what's good for my client is what's important, right? And that is something that Lennar knows. They are doing a good job for the people they're selling the house to, not for the agents necessarily.
I wish they had more of them in Summerlin because the Arches is a little too expensive.
Well, and the Arches are great home. Again, another one where they make a great home. Just so everybody knows, we're talking about these properties that you should know about if you're looking for this type of property. But they're a great home. But the community is sort of like, okay, that's what I've had a problem.
Arches is in Red Point Village.
But when you look at that product and that community, my higher end buyers go there and they go, I love this home, but I don't love the community. It's sort of just bland. It's
the houses are a little basic.
The houses they love.
No, the outside.
Right. Well, it's the whole look of the community.
Yes.
The way that when you enter it, it doesn't have that panache.
Yeah. Right. I get
it's basic.
Well, Lennar has Black Mountain Ranch over there in Henderson that has all these next gen suites. And stay tuned. On Monday, I'll be posting a video on Lennar Estate Homes across the valley where you can get these 3,000, 4,000 square foot homes that have the next gen suites.
Yep. Awesome.
All right. Let's get back into the numbers. All right. So this brings us to the months of supply. Last month, we were at 1.9 months of inventory, and this month we are at 1.6 months of inventory, which is down 17.4% from the prior month, but slightly up 28.2% from the prior year. So, 1.6.
So, a lot to unpack here, but this is the story. The inventory is the story, and it really has been for quite a while, especially when we look back on last year. We're pointing out we are plus 28.2% off of last year, which I think must have been around 1.1. It was at 9?
Like 9 or 1%.
Okay. So it was extremely low last year with more demand. And now we're extremely low with a little less demand, but still extremely low. And that's what's creating the price increase that basically it's the simple supply and demand. It's at stake here. That's taking over so inventory is the story. this is not necessarily a great story for you if you're the buyer that's looking for a resale home right now. It's not as if you can't do it. It's just not what maybe it was even just a couple of months ago.
The sad thing is that even some of my clients and the doomers say, hold off, wait, right? Okay.
Mhm.
I'm not telling you to buy now. I'm just telling you the scenario, right?
Right.
So 2 months ago, if you would have bought, you still probably would have gotten a decent interest rate, right? And a lower price. Now the prices have increased by 12,000. Now some areas it's by zip code. Some areas are better than others. Some have more or higher increases than others, right? So now as the time goes by, I don't see lots of inventory coming on the market.
Yeah, you don't have as much option.
Okay.
You know.
So if we continue this route and we still have the demand where the people are coming from back east, back west,
And we will,
because these people, after experiencing the coldest winter of their lives, want to come to a very warm location, and live here or be snowbirds here. Okay. And I deal with a lot of those types of clients, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if the inventory continues this level, then the prices will continue to go up. That's my 100%.
100%. There's no doubt about that.
I'm not saying that I agree with this. I'm just telling you based off of the factual numbers.
Yeah.
Well, because doomers, they say,
well, they twist your words.
They twist my words, right? And I got to be careful how I say it. I'm just telling you like it is, and what's really happening right now.
So I think the message that the positive message here is really to the seller. If you're interested in selling, if you're thinking about it, you are in the driver's seat again. Now, whether or not that stays that way, or again, we can't really be for sure, but
I mean, there's still where you can get deals on homes that are over 30 days and they're selling and blah, blah, blah. As a buyer, you can still get a deal. But if your home is in prime location, move-in ready, then the seller is in the driver's seat.
I think sellers are in the driver's seat almost wherever they are, as long as they're pricing right. Now, you can't get stupid with your price.
Right.
That's what we do see a lot of.
Yes.
And so this is the hit. I love saying this. This is the hidden part. Again, this is not necessarily good news to a buyer, but the hidden part of this inventory that's not great is that some of it is overpriced.
Yes.
So overpriced, needs work. And who the hell is going to want to spend a whole bunch of money to fix up a property and
it's not cheap to do renovations.
No. So some of these are not really viable inventory. But if you're a seller that comes on the market and prices your property right, you're smart. Listen, if you're thinking of selling in the next 6 months, get on the horse now. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Don't do it in 6 months. Don't do it in 5 months. I think that would be a mistake unless the rates change. And like somebody's actually mentioning here, if we have a sudden rate drop, we will get busier. And then that would mean that the sellers,
will come out and play.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think, look, for me, I would take the bird in the hand right now for sure and say, I'm going to sell sooner than later. Now, maybe if you have a longer time frame, I could sell now or maybe in a year, and that's a debatable subject. But this is not a bad time. This is a good time to sell. Yeah. Just depends on where you're going.
True.
If you have an investment property, great time to sell. If it's not your primary residence and you don't have to buy enough, if you're moving out of state, great time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Let's just finish this last slide. So 60.6% of the closings was on the market 30 days or less for last month. 53.6% was for the prior month. And then last year, we were at 88.6% on the market 30 days or less. So homes were flying off the shelf last. Was actually technically April because the sales. No, I like
the homes came with cocaine last year.
Yeah.
And people were snorting that up.
Well, they may have won a contract in April, but closed in May.
Right.
So that's how the trend is. So now you're probably going to see June is going to be pretty good. I don't think it's going to be as good as May's numbers. We'll get into that once we start predicting. If you have any comments real quick, jump on right now. Otherwise, we're going to get into the new builder incentives.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. So inventory is the story.
Inventory is the story.
We'll leave that.
And that's my prediction is we will continue this trend if inventory becomes the same issue. Sellers aren't listing as much. I don't foresee too many foreclosures now. Everyone wants to look at it as the whole picture about the national unemployment rate and this and that.
Well, that
and
hasn't
this
been
and that.
bad at all. That's
But we
been
got to
all
look
good.
at it as what's happening in this market right now. And I did get a report that the unemployment numbers for Las Vegas is like at 5%. I don't know if that's bad or good.
That sounds high, actually. I think
I could be
nationally
wrong.
it's like at 3.4
Okay.
or
Yeah, I could be wrong.
3.6 or 5 or something.
Yeah. So now this Clark County, which is Southern Nevada, which includes Henderson, Las Vegas, and North Las Vegas, we have almost 2.4 population, 2.4 million.
Mm.
So we have grown in population over the
Oh,
last
yeah.
couple of years. It used to be just 2.2. So we're almost at 2.4. Anyways, new construction buyer incentives. There are still some builders like Taylor Morrison, prime example. They're very well known for building these move-in ready homes. Oftentimes what these builders were doing was, because of supply chain issues and to stay on top of the game, they did a lot of move-in ready homes. That way they have these incentives that they're offering. So they still have the same incentives as they did last month, where it's the 3-to-1 buy down, I think, where the first year it's at 2.49%, the second year 3.49%, the third year 4.49%, and years 4 through 30 is 5.49% locked in interest rate, which is still below the average interest rate right now.
Yep.
And who knows, in 5 years, the interest rates may be lower, may be not. You can refinance.
Yeah, you gives you options, and it allows you to get in at a more comfortable price for the mortgage for the first few years, and even end at a point where you're lower than what you would be now anyway.
Right.
So that seems like a no-brainer.
So basically, is to enter into a contract from May 30th, which was just recently, to June 30th on eligible Las Vegas area quick move-in homes that closes on or before July 31st.
Yeah.
And Taylor Morrison, every week I get their list of standing inventories. And if you ever want to know any standing inventories or quick move-ins across the valley, just contact Rob and I, and we can get you that list.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So Toll Brothers is having their national sales event from June 3rd to the 18th with limited time incentives for savings on move-in ready homes, homes near completion, and home designs ready to be built. However, you have to sign an agreement for sale and close on the home, blah, blah, blah. They don't tell you what it's about. I clicked on the link and someone's supposed to be contacting me. They don't advertise what the sales event is. They just say, click on this link for more information and someone will contact you. Yeah. So just know that they're having a national sales event, but they don't disclose what that event is.
Maybe they're selling homes or something.
Yeah, but what's the incentive? Usually,
they didn't say incentive. They said national sales event.
When Toll Brothers does those national sales events, they'll give you like 3% towards closing costs if you use their in-house lender, etc. But who knows?
Well, Toll Brothers is another builder that has an exceptional product, and where these areas that they're building in are fantastic. Fantastic homes, really high in demand homes.
I mean, I like Toll Brothers, don't get me wrong, but through the heartaches that I've had with several clients, they take a long friggin' time compared to other builders.
Yeah. Well, and but they're just that typical, like, hey, this is the most
we'll just go at our
awesome
pace.
Yeah, and we make the most awesome
I know. I think they're no different than Pulte or Tri-Point Homes, in my opinion.
Really?
When it comes to construction quality.
Oh, well, that may be, but what they do is they woo you with the
the model homes, making it look like that's what your home's going to look like, but it is not going to look like that at all, unless you want to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to make it look like that.
Yeah, well, and a smart move. And I have a friend who's become a client that has a Mesa Ridge property, and he bought the base. He bought it as base, and then he had his people come in. He had a crew come in and do everything. Mm-hmm. Probably saved $100,000 on his.
That's nice.
Yeah,
that's nice,
and it looks amazing.
I just think sometimes some of the Toll Brothers home, like in Granite Heights in the Cliffs Village, they just seem boxy to me, like not enough space. Not enough breathing room. In my opinion, that's just my opinion. Anyway, so the next builder is Pulte, and they're offering limited special interest rate, 30-year fixed at 5.25. Now, Pulte, remember when I was telling you guys to buy Pulte new construction, they were at 3.99 at one point in time. And I think they were even at 2.99. So now they're at 5.25 for their quick move-in homes when you use their in-house lender on certain inventory homes that you have to be into contract from June 5th and close by August 31st.
Yep. You got to have a good credit score and put some money down.
And some of these incentives, you have to do only conventional and put 20% down. Now, some of the other builders have other incentives for just FHA and VA clientele.
Yep.
So Richmond American, they're having their for homes that close. Now, Richmond American, I didn't know this. I was showing homes in Cadence. Quick story on that. So we went over to Cadence in Henderson this Sunday, right? I looked at my phone and it was hot. It was 99 degrees, right? I'm like, wait a minute. The forecast from where I was from only said 95 degrees. Yeah. So then I came back down to where I live in Desert Shores and it was 95 degrees. So Henderson is 4 to 5 plus degrees hotter than the northwest part of the valley.
Yeah, but I don't know that I've known that always. That's interesting that we went ahead and put the largest body of water on the west coast right over in that hot area.
No, that's the east side.
Well, yeah, but it's the largest body of water on the west coast.
Right,
so
right.
That's Lake Mead I'm speaking of.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's interesting that we put it. I don't think that there was a lot of foresight in, hey, this area gets hotter.
How many years ago was that?
Yeah.
They didn't have the technology they had now.
Maybe, yeah.
Or the know-with-all.
If only they had an Apple phone to tell them.
Right. So anyway, so that was I knew it was hotter, but I never observed it. That was my first time observing it because when I looked at the forecast for the rest of the week in Henderson, I'm like, what? 99 degrees, 100 degrees. Wait a minute.
Was it overcast on one side of town and maybe not on the other? Or?
No, it was Sunday. It was the Sunday. It was hot.
Interesting.
Yeah. So food for thought. If you want to move to Henderson, it's hotter than the northwest part of the valley.
I can tell you for sure the further you go northwest,
yes,
it gets cooler.
Yeah.
10 degrees cooler in Reverence.
Yes. Yeah. Well, because it's by the mountain.
Yep. And that western sun gets blocked by a lot of the western mountains.
So you won't have that much. Yep.
If you like Reverence,
so who were you showing in Reverence? Was it Karen?
No, it was another client, another tennis client actually.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Anyway, folks, Richmond American. So they have for FHA and VA a 30-year fixed interest rate at 5.5%. And if you do conventional, it's 5.875%. Now, if you want to take advantage of their closing costs, which is 2%, then they're changing it to 6% interest rate. Okay. So it's really not a savings. If they raise it from 5.5 and you get only 2% for closing costs, then you have to pay 6% interest rate. To me, that's not a deal.
Have you seen that meme of the little kid? The little kid that's like, he's looking all skeptical. Like, what you trying to take from me?
Yeah. What you talking about, Willis?
That's what I feel like. Right?
Yeah. All right. So basically, you have to go under contract with Richmond American between June 1st through the 11th and close by August 31st. So my point was, and I'm coming back to what I was thinking, they actually build their homes fast, Richmond American. They were saying like over 90 days. Like, how D.R. Horton does the Express, 90 days.
Okay.
They're around the same time frame, 3-4 months.
Wow. Well, we're certainly getting caught up. We've gotten caught up with the supply chain.
Yes.
And the construction workers are out there and available. So, moving them and putting them up.
Yeah. And KB Homes has the same special that they've had for the last 6+ months.
KB,
4.99% and up to 270 days.
They have a specific product that has generally been for first-time home buyer mostly.
Right.
But in a certain price range.
Right.
No, I don't want to say low end, but they've just been in an area where it's affordable.
They're middle of the road type of builder.
For the most part.
But they nickel and dime you on everything that you want to put in your home.
Yeah. So, buy the if you don't like that, don't go with the builder upgrades, except for the ones that have to be structural.
Right.
And then bring in your construction crew afterward, or your home, whatever your crew that you want to have do the work.
Okay, so last is Century Communities, and they're having their summer event. Basically, you can lock in an incredible 4.875% interest rate when you're using an FHA or VA 30-year fixed rate. And if you're doing conventional, it's 5.875. But again, you have to use their in-house lender and only on select homes, which are probably their move-in ready homes.
Yep. I would imagine.
Yep. All right. So now let's get to the bets. The moment we've all been waiting for.
Should I close this out?
Nope, we have to scroll it down.
Oh, I have to scroll. That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
We get to see who won.
Ouch.
All right. So this is the fun part. Now we're going to be ending this soon. Looks like we may actually end it in an hour. If you have any comments or questions, please leave it in there and we would love to answer them. I like it when you guys are interactive. You know, one moment they're not, the next moment they are. Come on. Let us know if we have good picture. The streaming is not. No, just kidding.
It seems like when we have better,
streaming.
Well, when we have the news is more positive on the market, people are less quiet or more quiet about it.
Right. All right. So for the medium sales price, Rob predicted a $7,000 increase. I predicted a $7,500 increase. And as we all know, it was $12,120. So I won that bet.
Yeah, I think
For without offers, Rob said 3,700. I said 3,500. It was actually 3,645. Rob won that bet. Yours was like you're 55 points closer, and I was 145 points away. So Rob won that bet. But months of supply, Rob said 1.7. I said 1.6, and it was at 1.6.
Well, we both got right that it would go down.
Yes.
So we were feeling it. I just, I remember having to pick that number. I think you might have picked first, or maybe
you picked 7,000 and I prices righted you.
Yeah. And then the months of supply, I had to pick first as well. But I remember trying to pick a number that would be like, and going to one, I guess I should have done 1.6, obviously, but going to 1.5, I just was not really fathomable a month ago. But we came close.
Well, and Mr. Rob, you're doing these monthly or weekly updates. You should have a better feel for the market than me.
Well, okay. I think we're pretty close, pretty close.
Well, you prices righted me. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. All right. Yeah. So I get to go first this time, I guess, because you went first the last time.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So for medium price, you guys thought I was crazy when we did these high increases, right?
Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't think, well, I could be putting my foot in my mouth. So we had a 12,000 increase. I'm actually going to stay at 7,500.
Okay. Geez, this is a tough one.
Just because because of the inventory situation, with our very limited inventory, I don't know how we're going to be with, where's my notes at?
Yeah, I think you're right. And I'm going to have to go 7,100.
Oh my gosh.
Go above you on that one. It'll probably come in
7,100? I said 75.
Oh, did you? All right. So I'll just go above you by 100.
So you want to go 76?
You know what? Oh God. Is it going to go up that much? Gosh, that is hard to believe. Oh man. I'm going to go with my first instinct that, it'll be 76.
Well, your first instinct, you said 71.
Well, because I thought you said 7,000.
All right.
So
75.
Okay. So without offers, boy, I really want to keep it right around I'll say 3,700.
I'm going to keep it mine at 35.
Okay.
Because I don't see a flock of homes coming on the market.
Yeah. I think there's going to be some more, but we'll see.
Well, I think the prime listing time to sell your house or the best time per Zillow to list your home is in April, actually.
Yeah.
Which, I had 6 closings in May. And then I only have 4 this month and I can feel the difference. So I think that's why I don't think the increase is going to be as high as this month's increase because of we're trending into the summer season. So anyway,
I think two things. I think that you have school that's gotten out, and I think a lot of people.
But everyone's on vacation now.
Sure, but then also there are those that will start to square away their home stuff now,
right?
Because they want to take the late summer vacation rather than they want to get the home stuff done first. Right. So also, I do think that we're going to see a slight slowing of activity.
I will too. During the summer.
So just slight enough to keep to keep it around these numbers.
Right.
So that's why I think that. So we'll see.
All right.
It's we're on whatever we're predicting here. I think we're on razor's edges here.
Yeah. And that's why I'm gonna stay to my 1.6 months of inventory. Because if we have a slight increase in a little more homes. And then I only have 3,500 without offers. I'm going to stay at my 1.6.
Yeah, this is another really hard one to that number. And especially based off of what I'm seeing weekly. But will it change a little bit?
I think July, the numbers are going to start sloping down, in my opinion, because typically based off of experience and you say the summer months are hot, but for me, July is a very slow month for me when it comes to sales. And then I start picking up like September, and believe it or not, fall's pretty good.
Well, and that's very subjective, of course, our own experiences but I'm going to go ahead and go with stick with 1.7 and just,
Pretty much we didn't move.
Yeah. I mean, I just can't see it going to 1.5. That's my reason on that.
No, especially not.
And what am I going to do? I don't have. You're picking a solid number there, so we're on the razor's edge.
Yeah, it's very close. So will Rob finally win after my consecutive
6 months now?
7, 8, 9. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. It's been
at least 6 months.
Yeah, at least 6 months.
I owe you a few lunches here.
That's okay. I should start taking money. To pay for my my remodeling that I'm going on. No, I'm just kidding. So wait until the 30-year dips. What does that mean?
So the 30-year
fixed interest rate,
right? So you're totally right, Patty. If anytime soon the rate was to dip, the market would. There is pent up demand out there. It is waiting. There are so many people. I have worked with so many people that are on the edge of, and this includes people that have means, but they also are like, does this make sense? So if that were to shake loose at all and go down, boom, if the dam would break, we'd have so much activity we wouldn't know what to do. But
my thought is this: if the interest rates do start slowly going down, I don't think we'll ever get the 3% mark.
No.
It may go 4 or stay balanced at 5.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see below 4 for a long time.
But if it does go to those percentages, then what's going to happen, folks? What do you think is going to happen? I think.
Oh, yeah.
Prices are going to keep on going.
No, if activity ticks up, I just don't think that we have. I don't think that we have enough inventory at any point anymore. I think Vegas is going to be anemic on inventory for a long time to come. Those days of when we had 10,000 plus, 11,000 plus homes available, they may be a ways off.
Right.
Vegas has become such a great place for people to be. You don't have as much of this, people come here, figure out they don't like it and bail. You're going to have a little bit of that.
Yes.
But it just feels like people are sticking around and people are investing. So you also have people that have put their money into the town, whether they're the snowbirds and say, you know what, I do want a property here and I'll come back and forth. Right. Or whether it's just somebody that puts their money into Vegas. Bet strong. You want to bet, you want to win or bet on something that's strong. Strong stays strong. And that's what Vegas is doing.
And honestly, and you guys can leave if you like, but I'm just going to shoot my shit. Gone are the days where the prices will ever hit a median of 315. Okay. In my opinion,
it would have to be disastrous.
It would have to be disastrous, in my opinion. And not that I agree to this statement. I'm just stating the facts of what I'm observing. Because unfortunately, with the exodus of California, Oregon, Washington, New York, Chicago, people going to all these no income tax states. Texas got lots of people, Florida, Tennessee. Some people are going to Washington, but a lot of people want to leave Washington. We're always going to see that influx of people coming to Vegas, right?
I believe that strongly. I know it, and it's not even a question anymore because of all the, there's just so much. Vegas continues to have potential, continues to have more and more that those people that are coming from places want in their lives.
Right.
It didn't, and I know this firsthand because born and raised here. You've been here long enough to see it too. A number of things. We started out our broadcast talking about Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah.
Pro sports teams are a huge part of people's lives. It's how people let off steam. It's how they get away from stuff that, rattles them every day. And
I mean, Mark Wahlberg bought a friggin' $3 million lot, and that doesn't include the house that he bought over in the Summit.
Yeah, and he's also talking about, I mean, that's a great person to bring up because he's, they're talking about bringing movie studios here. Now, there's going to be some deals that Vegas is going to make a lot of that happen.
Well, Vegas is going to be the new California, unfortunately. And that's my prediction as to where prices are heading. And I hate saying it, and I don't like it, and I don't agree with it, but based off of what's happening.
Oh, yeah. No, we're getting a lot of Californians, and that's why it would be and it always has been that way. So, there's been Californians coming here since I was a kid, and they're going to continue to come because California is, it's crazy, and it's a lot of traffic, and it's a lot of stuff that people don't want to deal with anymore. And they're realizing I could just be basically around the corner,
especially when that monorail thing opens.
Oh God!
Up.
And here's the thing on the monorail. The only reason why I don't see that happening now because they're being smart. I just put up on my personal Facebook page. I made some comments about the high speed rail that California's doing, which is mind boggling. That it's taken since 2000. They've been working that project for a long time now, 2008, I think.
Right.
And it's $100 billion over budget. Okay, they got it started without all the things that they needed to do to get it done. They got it started without the proper funding and budgeting. And so now they've gone along and they've got all this litigious activity, all these legal battles and everything. So what's happening with the one that's coming here, they're getting that all sorted out beforehand. So that when they can start construction, they can get the construction done.
I thought they've already been building it.
No, I don't think they've actually started construction. It's all been about, hey, we're literally setting the tracks to set the tracks.
Right.
Which is what the mistake was made in California with their high-speed rail, in my opinion.
Right.
California has such huge problems when it comes to doing certain infrastructure. I mean, the water issue there. Yeah. And this is a West Coast thing. This isn't just here in Nevada.
Right.
We are one of the best conservationists of water in all of the country, if not the very best. And California is way behind because they have always felt like we got lots of water. We got an ocean. Well, imagine they're going to have to start piping potentially desalinated water to places. That's going to be like the cure. Imagine running a pipeline in California right now with all the legal battles you'll have to go through, even if it is water.
Right.
I'm just telling you.
Well, real quick, I know this isn't like Vegas related, but I saw an article in the RJ the other day about Phoenix.
About their water issues.
Well, their water issues, and then they are not allowing builds anymore.
Well, that's from the water issues.
Because of the water issues. And so, Phoenix is double the amount of population that we are. And, of course, that's the central Phoenix and not just Phoenix itself, but you have Mesa, Gilbert, Queens, whatever all those little places are. So in the article, it was stating that unless that the builders can find a way to get water to their community, they are not approving any permits for new construction.
So I think that's twofold because Arizona grew so rapidly and then now has had a little bit less demand. So they're figuring this is a good time to go ahead and start strapping these constraints on, and it'll actually help things in the long run because they won't overbuild.
Right.
So that's a little bit of the plan in there. But also Arizona has been just like California in some ways.
Yes.
But they're a desert. They are clearly a desert, but they've been flush with water because they, or at least in the past, they were flush water. If you went and looked, they have canals that run through Arizona. They were high. When I was a kid, they were bone dry, and then for a long time they were all the way raised up, and they had Lake Powell running strong. Well, now they're starting to feel it. Now they're starting to have all these problems.
Well, they never had the water smart as we have.
The conservation efforts were not the same. Southern Nevada Water Authority has been way ahead of the game on this. And I know a lot of people, they always talk about, hey, why is Vegas still building? They don't have any water. We are the best when it comes to conservation of water and how we're doing it. And guess what? They're getting even more stringent on it, and we are doing well. We don't even use our allotment, and we have the smallest.
We're the only places that also recycles our water too.
We have a reclamation, and that is what California needs. That's what Arizona needs. So imagine not just pipeline, but reclamation lines.
I'm
things
really
like that.
Proud to be in a state that's also very with their recycling program, their watering. I mean, the recycling is better than what some other states.
It's okay. From what I understand, I still recycle everything that I can, but from what I understand, some of that doesn't really make it to the recycle. But yes, it's great to know.
I'm proud to be living in a state that has been ahead of the game for 30 years. Before everyone else, and everyone needs to lead by example by Nevada or Las Vegas.
Look, one thing that people came here and realized when they came to Las Vegas, Nevada, and I'm talking the old Western times. We don't have a lot of water to drink, folks. We need clean water. They realized it early on, and they literally started efforts back then to make sure don't waste the water. It costs us money. It's a resource here. So I think it was something that I grew up with, knowing, don't run your water while you brush your teeth. I mean, the duh stuff, right? Duh, don't do that. Right. But, as time has gone on, they've gotten better and better and better about doing this. And really, folks, I think, just because you're wealthy enough to water the hell out of a lawn, I don't really think that's right anymore. I think that we have to start being smart. We have to. Southern Nevada, I sound like a salesman for them or something.
No, I got a thought after you.
Okay, real quick. Yeah, the Southern Nevada Water Authority says we need to look like the desert we are, and I think that's smart.
Well, I have all of these epiphanies all the time, And my epiphany was that why Vegas or the Southwest has gotten hotter through climate change is because of the concrete jungle.
Absolutely.
So we don't have as much grass as we used to. We're converting everything to desert landscaping. We're converting it to the turf. So guess what's going to happen? We don't have that grass to cool the temperatures down or to produce the rain. So it's a never-ending cycle, in my opinion, that we are always going to be drought-ridden because we're doing the measures to get rid of or to preserve water, but yet by taking those measures out, we won't see the rain.
Well, okay, so first of all, the vegetation, we could put a ton of it here, and it's not going to change our rain patterns. That's just not, But
you remember years ago, we always had monsoon season. We haven't had a great monsoon season in years.
Well, this last year has been amazing.
Well, this year, but 10 years ago.
Well, it's been a drought.
It's been a drought.
West Coast
but why
drought.
is that? Because we're converting everything into.
Hey, kitty.
Hey, babies.
Well, no, it's not. I don't believe that it's because we're creating, because we're removing vegetation that we put here.
Right.
That's the thing. Lake Mead is a man-made lake. Okay, so it needs to be maintained. Okay, so that's like the same thing. When we put in this grass and stuff and trees, it's not going to change what's happening up in the climate.
Well, I think the concrete jungle is.
The concrete jungle does, but here's what I mean about this. They want it to look like the desert it is. So instead of grass, you would have rocks and desert landscaping, right? So that's not going to be as heat-seeking sealed as streets and concrete.
Right.
Okay.
True.
So yes, it's going to have a little bit of an effect, and certainly if you have trees that cover your house is going to be cooler.
Yes.
But we're not saying rip out all the trees either. We're just saying grass is really, really water inefficient.
Because we go to the park and it's just like we did yoga, full moon yoga at Pueblo Park.
Yeah.
And it got cold because we're on the grass and on the ground on earth. And I was just, my epiphany came during yoga.
And keep this in mind, the usable grass like that will not get removed.
Right.
It will be only the grass that is like just lining streets and not really a playground or a cemetery or, something that is useful.
Golf course.
golf courses, but they're not allowing more golf courses to be built. And certainly these man-made lakes, those are getting, those aren't getting put up. You can't put grass in your back or your front yard on any new homes.
And
anymore.
They also limited the pool. If you want to build a pool, it's no more than 600 square feet.
Right. So we're doing a lot here, and there's more to come. And it just makes sense. The thing is, this is a West Coast problem. So
it's not just a Las Vegas problem.
By no means is it just Las Vegas, folks.
But we're the only one that ever took initiative in it.
That's right. And we hope that everybody else does. I hope that they hear our little speech here and they get on the ball.
Yeah.
So,
and if you're thinking about moving to Phoenix, there's not as conservative as we are with the water situation.
Wow. Hopefully they start.
And they have state income tax and higher property taxes.
Yeah, I think you only go to Phoenix if you're making a bunch of money, folks.
Yeah.
If you want a better life, come to Las Vegas.
Anyway, guys, I just wanted, I know I went over, I like talking about these world topics,
Sure.
I mean, maybe we'll just have a blog post of world topics and instead of, or a podcast of world topics of our thoughts.
Sure. Do y'all want to hear what the hell two idiots have to say? I'm just kidding.
Do you two drink the tap water? Oh no, never drink the tap water. I have a filtered water in my sink.
Yeah, the tap water doesn't taste right. I don't think it does anywhere, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah. Anyway, folks.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for watching.
Yeah. Rock on.
And do it peacefully. And we'll see you on the next one.
Maybe we'll make it a little shorter, huh?
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Oh, we just went, haha. We all have filtered water systems.
We all have filtered water. That's right.
I went a little over to talk. That's why I said we should have a podcast to talk about this shit.
Yep.
Yikes.
Yeah, look.